Oh, hey!
Hey, I guess we're doing another Randocast.
Third Randocast ever.
Second one about Voltron.
Yeah, we just got finished watching season 2, and it was a lot better than season 1.
We're just gonna go through spoilers because they're spoilers. So season one, I guess I fell asleep during some episodes. They were just doing a lot of setup. But season two, I was enthralled. Just did not want to stop watching, and they ended on a cliffhanger. And oh my god!
Right. And a lot of the episodes had cliffhangers, but I thought the episodes within the season, they'd space it out. So there'd be a cliffhanger episode, and then there'd be like an episode with a rather satisfying conclusions. And so you didn't have to necessarily binge watch the entire show.
I feel kind of differently because the entire season is very serialized. There is an end goal. They are going to attack what's his face?
Zarkon. Yeah.
And you just want to see it happen, and they're just slowly building up to everything they need to get together. They have to find their allies, they need to find the materials, and you're just watching like, I need to see what this end result is. I want to see the final battle. So I could have binge watched it had it not been for Surge.
Right. Well, I did have to go to sleep at some point, so we ended up doing it in 3 parts, and I thought it worked out really well. One of my favorite parts of the season was watching some of the paladins discover hidden powers of their lions that they didn't know about before. For example, Pidge, when they were rescuing that one civilization that was like in the forest, but were actually really advanced.
They're like the Nox from Stargate.
Yeah. And so Pidge discovered this vine beam, I guess, that makes like really fat vines grow out of the impact point and like choke up whatever the heck got hit with vines. Really cool. What were some of the other powers?
I remember Hunk had the big claw things.
That's right. He got claws that could like grow 3 times bigger.
Right? Shiro had in the last episode, Shiro finally gets full control of his lion because it used to be Zarkon's lion, so Zarkon's trying to get it back. And basically, what happens is in the final battle with Zarkon, Shiro finally becomes one with his lion and unlocks his lion's true potential.
Yeah, and he gets his
Wings?
yeah, he gets these. He saw these in a vision when they were in that weird dreamscape in an earlier episode. Where he ends up actually fighting Zarkon in this like alternate dimension reality. What exactly was that called?
It was the one where he was trying to mind meld with his lion, so his lion took him on a journey, while the other four were doing something else.
Right.
It was like their vacation day. They went to the mall to go shopping and had their hijinks, and Shiro went to bond with his lion. Remember?
Yeah, oh, right. Okay, but this is after they fight in that like space dimension or whatever, right? And basically, he has this flashback, and he realizes that Zarkon and Allura's dad or whatever used to be like really good buddies, and he sees some of Zarkon's past battles as part of the Paladins, and he sees that the Black Lion used to have these gigantic, beautiful wings, and he can't form those.
Well, he
so,
does.
Well, yeah, he does, and he gets the little weapon back. What was it called?
Oh, the...
All the other paladins have these things. It's different for each one. It just depends on their traits and characteristics. Can't remember what it's called, but anyway, they're like little blades, and he gets his back. Anyway, and
the princess has some awesome battle scenes in the last episode where she's fighting the Witch Queen.
Exactly. And by the way, my prediction that they were actually Alteans, the witches.
I thought that was something they had revealed last season because it's been so long since I watched it that
Okay.
when it was a surprise reveal, I just went, how is this a surprise? And then I was like, okay, never mind.
I guess you figured it out before I did.
It's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, even I figured it out, so it must have been super obvious. They just use a different colored quintessence. Theirs is purple, yours is like neon blue. But essentially the same kind of thing.
Isn't it usually when you join the dark side, your thing becomes darker? So that's why it's purple as opposed to the bright blue.
Right.
Yeah. So the cliffhanger ending, can we talk about how that needs to be resolved? I mean, there's so many things. So after the final battle, Shiro's missing. They tow his lion back and they run into his lion to see how he is, and he's not in there.
Right, there's no trace of him. But so right in the end, what you see is basically it's that classic showdown.
It's a mech showdown. Zarkon has his own mech suit, so I'm not entirely sure why he's so obsessed with the Black Lion, because his suit, in a lot of ways, is better than Voltron. It's better than the Black Lion.
Right, his suit is as powerful as Voltron, with the Black Lion not fully powered up, which is how they start fighting. But once Shiro regains full control of the lion from Zarkon, it's no contest. They come in for the kill with the sword, and Zarkon's mech suit armor stops it for an instant, and then he grabs Voltron's head with both hands and starts squeezing it and uses quintessence energy to blow it up. At this moment, Shiro sees the activation panel for some unknown power that his lion is telling him to use. He turns it, Voltron powers up, the sword goes right through Zarkon and slices him in half, basically. And as they're all powering up, all 5 lions, you see the 5-way split screen of the pilots' faces, but this time it's sort of like a line drawing, because I guess it's kind of like they're almost like being electrocuted. I say they're powered up with energy, so you just see the outlines, and each outline is in their specific color. But I feel like
I thought that represented higher power, powering up Voltron to the point where it's sort of like the light is just blowing them out, and that's why you only see the line drawing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if they did the full blowout, you would just see a white screen.
So they're basically pure energy at that point. Yeah. It was really, really cool. It was almost like a comic book sort of style drawing.
Yeah, I noticed that. It really looked like manga.
Yeah, it looked really sweet. But this basically overpowered move seems to have required some kind of sacrifice from Shiro, and we don't know what that is yet.
Right, so next season, obviously, is going to be the search for Shiro. You're going to find out more about Keith's past. He's part Galra?
Yeah, and that caused a little bit of tension, but he ended up joining this really cool secret organization called the Blade of Marmora, which was really awesome.
Oh, such a badass test scene where he has to go through different levels of a test until he understands what he has to do.
Exactly.
Oh, so good.
And all the Blades, are really cool characters. We get to see, a really badass death scene from one of them.
It was really sad.
Was it Thanos?
Theus?
Thane?
Oh. There's 2 death scenes.
Yeah.
2 of them die.
Yeah, 2 of them die. One of them, the mole that's inside Zarkon's ship gets the more badass death scene, and he gets some interaction with Keith. Yeah, really cool. We're both really impressed with this show, I think.
Pidge has more details on what happened to her brother, so she is obviously going to have to search for him. And you said when you were little and you watched Voltron that the princess had a lion?
I could have sworn the princess had a lion, and so now that they're down 1 paladin, I feel like what I feel like is going to happen in season 3 is that Keith is going to have to take over the Black Lion. In fact,
Shiro had said to Keith, if anything happens to me, I want you to be the leader of the group.
Right, which means he'd have to.
But why does the Black Lion have to be the leader?
Well, somebody has to pilot the Black Lion.
Well, why can't the princess get the Black Lion?
Then she'd be the leader.
But why does the Black Lion have to be the leader?
Because it's the body and head of Voltron. I think she would maybe get Keith's lion, or maybe Lance would get Keith's lion, and then she'd get Lance's lion. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I see a lot of rubbing people the wrong way next season because Lance and Keith don't get along. So,
although they do make a good team, whenever they're paired up, they really work effectively together.
Yeah, but Lance really thinks he's the best. So
right. So when Keith becomes the leader, it's really gonna piss Lance off.
Yep.
Yeah. But I don't see the princess, going back to my little theory, I don't see her getting either Pidge's or Hunk's lions, because those are very
specialized towards them.
Yeah, they're really in tune with those lions.
But so is Keith to his, because every time he's in trouble, that red line immediately lights up and flies to him. I mean, we've seen that happen to him more than any other pilot.
That's true, but I don't think either Keith or Lance have unlocked their line's special abilities, have they?
I think Keith did this season.
What was his line?
Wasn't it like a fire thing?
Yeah, I mean, Lance like blew like a giant like ice beam in the last season, but is that the same thing?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, so great show on Netflix. Netflix has done it again. Seriously, their original shows, bang on.
Yeah, well, is this really an original show?
It is a Netflix original for this reboot.
Right, but it's a reboot.
I mean,
Stranger Things is a Netflix original show.
Right, but the Gilmore Girls revival is still called a Netflix original.
I'm sorry, I guess I'm not down with all the terminology.
I mean, Fuller House
the
is
lingo.
Also a Netflix original.
Okay, I'm sorry to get in this argument with you. You're right. Anyway, that's a recommend from both of us. Go out and watch it. According to Anna, season 1's a little bit slower, but season 2 is definitely worth it.